Hey guys, it's Bob Samurai Team Rival here.
What's going on, everyone? Happy to have you here, Bob, and I guess the other way around, however it works. Happy to be here.
Yeah, because we're going to be putting up on both of our channels. Today we're going to be talking about Black Lion.
I have the DVD
Yeah.
right here. Very nice. Now, people are probably saying, what the hell is this? Well, obviously you can tell by the cover, it has to deal with something that Mr. Bob Samurai himself is very knowledgeable in.
Samurai.
Ninjas and samurais and pretty much just anything that's feudal Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll let you.
And this movie is fucking awesome. So, I mean, Bob, do you want to go ahead and give a little...
I'll brief you guys.
You're good. He's very good with Japanese history, and he'll be able to kind of tell you what's going on in terms of everything. So go ahead.
Alright,
take it
this
away.
is actually based in the, the 1500s, when Nobunaga Oda started to take over Japan. This is before he, this was around the time when he was fighting against the Takeda. And what actually happens is that his body was, he was kind of invaded with these, like, aliens from the future. It sounds kind of weird, but you gotta watch it. It's you know, you'll...
Yeah, oh yeah, it's very, very odd.
But once you start watching and getting into it, you know, it'll feel natural. But, Nobunaga was, this kid was taken over and made into Nobunaga, and Nobunaga started to take over all of Japan because he's given the technology of the aliens from the future or whatnot. So he's got all these sort of, like, machines and guns and stuff, and he's got it back in feudal Japan. And it's actually, in the beginning of this episode, it starts off when he's actually fighting against the Takeda clan. It's actually a reminder of the Nagashino battle where they actually tried to fight against the Oda, but they're all just mowed down. They thought that the rain would protect them from the bullets because of the matchlock rifles that they had. But here was even worse. They were just mowed down with machine guns in the 60s and everything. It was just
like Terminator status.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is kind of a funny story for me personally, just because I had been shown the trailer to this movie must have been like 8 months.
It's been a while.
And it was a while, and I never really, the name didn't stick with me, but the thing that stuck in my head was that first scene in the movie that was in the trailer, where the guys were like, no, you can't kill us, they're just like the villagers or whatever, no, you can't kill us, and fucking, Nobunaga's army, which is pretty much just Terminators, and like, if you can imagine that, they just come through and just mow everyone down with like Gatling guns. And when I saw that, I was like, I need to watch it, because it is violent as hell. People are getting stabbed through the eyes, and this, I believe, came out in '89, if I remember.
So I got the page right here, the wiki page. It doesn't...
Yeah, I got the DVD. Yeah, '89.
Mm-hmm.
So even I thought that not only was the animation just fucking awesome, it was just like, I just thought it was animated very nicely, and everything was, presentation-wise, I thought it was pretty top-notch, especially for something that, like I said, came out in '89.
Yeah, definitely. It came out on DVD in 1992, it looks like. It's actually only 45 minutes long. I bought it, it was like $6 on Amazon.
Yeah, it was so cheap. But I think the big problem with it is that, unfortunately, this was supposed to be part of a series. Because if you watch the whole OVA, it's not that long. Like I said, you can finish it in under an hour very easily.
Yeah.
The ending is an extreme cliffhanger, and it like you expect this huge story to happen just from what you see in the final 5 or 10 minutes of the OVA, but I guess production costs or something of the sort, because I think this was a
very high budget,
something like that.
A lot of stuff was going on, especially for the year that it was made. High production value there.
Yeah, and especially the way the fights are animated, they are just, it's the fights.
Very good.
The main character's name is, what is it, Shishimaru?
Shishimaru.
I remember. Yeah, Shishimaru. And the fights are just like crazy, like like if you think Dragon Ball Z fights are fast when they're like going all over the place and you can only see where they're, these fights are pretty much just as fast as that, if not faster, like crazy, jumping all over the place, no recycled footage, none of that nonsense. So, I mean, just watching it for the fights alone is I think worth it enough, in my opinion. But it's really a shame that this didn't, you know, come out to be a bigger thing, because I think it could have either gone two ways. It could have ended up being like, because this is a really original concept, even, you know, by today's standards, I think this is a really good concept of, definitely. You know, fusing, you know, the future with the past, and like, oh, what if this, you know, unexplained thing happened and all of a sudden there were robots with machine guns in feudal times.
It's not our future, it's the future that we've never even been to. Like, 500 years down the road, that technology was given to Nobunaga in 1500.
Yeah, stuff like that, and it was just like, there isn't really too much substance, I think, in terms of the actual story. The story is pretty much, here's how it goes down. Shishimaru is trying, when the village is being attacked, he's trying to protect the village. And one of his friends is killed by this guy named Jinai. And so he gets pissed off, he wants revenge, so he goes and gets revenge. And that's pretty much, 40 out of the 50 minutes right there is him, arguing, because he goes, he's rescued by this clan because he's left almost
the Iga Ninja clan?
near dead. Yeah, it was the Iga Ninja, and he's from a different clan, so they kind of fight back and forth, but there's nothing, it's not like, it's really just a popcorn flick as much as I see it. You grab the popcorn, you eat it, and you enjoy the hell out of it.
One thing I think about this is that while the battles, the battles are really great in here, but this also really sets you up. The story in here really sets you up. You get character development in here. Alright, your main character Shishimaru, his entire village was destroyed by Jinai. That this this guy, we'll get into talking about him in a little bit, but his whole village gets destroyed by him. Or was it the whole village, or was it just like his crew? But I think
it was a pretty sizable loss, whatever it is.
And then he gets he gets saved by this other ninja clan, and they got the whole development there. Everybody's arguing, and then later on he will save the girl that he didn't like him in the beginning, and all the characters there. It really makes you feel for all the characters. Some of them survive, some of them, well, a lot of them don't. Yeah, so it really sets it up so that you would think that there's going to be later episodes to this, and especially the way that they have it going on here, because it shows like Nobunaga's just taking over everything, and he is here, but you don't see anything about him really other than the fact that he is Nobunaga and he is badass. That's all that you really see. All that this is really based around is the main bad guy here, which you're probably going to see in all of the clips, the main, like this big samurai guy. It almost looks like Musashi.
Yeah, he looks like he could fuck someone up.
This bearded guy. He was assassinated by one of these ninjas. And then these people from the future, there's two sides of them. There's like the good guys and the bad guys. Kind of reminds me of like Onimusha, where there's like the demons and then there's the Oni. They're fighting against each other. It's kind of like that, because the good guy... Yeah, the good guy has his own side later on. And then the bad guy, Nobunaga has his own side. But the guy that was assassinated, they gave him this Terminator body, and he cannot be destroyed for anything. And alongside with that, they gave him this sword, which he can just cut through massive rocks and boulders and everything with this. He can cut through other swords. So people just run up to him, and he's just like starts slashing them into pieces. He's grabbing people by their head and ripping their necks off, and it's just...
Oh, it shows it all. It shows it all. And that's really why I think this is, while it's such a great movie, it's such a disappointment for me. Not in a bad way. It's just because, you don't even get to see what Nobunaga is capable of at all. You see what his cohorts and his underlings are capable of.
He's not even part of the Oda army. He's just a random dude that was brought back.
He's just some guy, and he literally massacres everyone, and you were just like, holy shit, this could end up being like potentially one of the greatest movies out there, but unfortunately didn't come out, and now you can find it for $6 anyway, which is a steal. It's an absolute steal. I think it's just worth owning, not that you're giving, because honestly you could just pirate it nowadays. Like, let's be honest, I think it's nice this company is not seeing any money from this at all. The only industry you're supporting is the eBay industry,
possibly, or somebody's like privately selling it or something. It's from ADV, aren't they close now?
I believe so. Yeah. Actually, I think, or they sold. Yeah, it came out in 2002 on DVD.
Yeah, something with 1990. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, but
well, it probably came out on VHS or something like that. It's old. Yeah, it's old. But a lot of people are like, they don't want to watch older animes, and they don't want to dip anything before the 90s like that.
Some of them before 2000s,
anything like that. Yeah, that's. But I honestly think this is just. It's just such a bargain that you're getting. You get character development, you get tons of great fights. Like, you think, in 15 minutes, how many fights could you put in? When you watch a Dragon Ball Z movie, you get like 1 or 2 fights. One where Goku loses and one where Goku wins. Like, that's pretty much how a Dragon Ball Z movie goes. But I can count. There's probably about 5 or 6 different fights in 50 minutes in this. Along with character development and stuff. It doesn't feel rushed.
The fights in here are a lot shorter. Usually Dragon Ball fights are a lot longer.
Yeah, the fights are pretty short, but it's like when you watch the fights, you're very entertained. You know, it's a very there's lots of nice colors and stuff you can look at.
There's a lot of different things that happened in the fight. Like, say for example, there was one fight. They started off in this room, and they're first of all they cut his head off, and then he just picks it up, puts it back on like part of his head, and it just like glued on, and then they chase him into this castle. Oh no, well, he was sleeping, and then everybody just jumps down and starts stabbing him, just stabbing him to death, and like there's a sword sticking at him, and he just like gets up and looks at him, and then they blow up the room, and he's chasing him out the castle, and it turns into like one thing leads to another. It's very eventful fights. It's not just people standing in a room duking it out. This,
clashing swords and stuff like that. It's like things are kind of
like this guy. They throw shurikens at him, and he just cuts all his shurikens in half. It's just crazy.
I mean. It's just, I really want more of this. They need more Black Mind. They really need more Black Mind. There needs to be a reboot or something of that nature, because this, I think, is a really good idea. And even if this was to, hypothetically turn into a manga.
Well, it was a manga, actually.
I know, see, the problem is I could find absolutely no research, and that's why it took me such a long time to, remember what this movie was, because there's like 2 trailers on YouTube, and one of them is in a completely different language.
Look at this picture here, this is the cover of the manga.
Hold on, I'm looking down at my computer.
Right there. It looks like it's from the 60s, actually. It's really, really old.
Oh, yeah, this looks like some Astro.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't even have color. Well, it's manga, but usually the covers have color.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's more... It looks higher end. But yeah, this is... I really want to read the manga to this, because... The story, it's the way it ends. It's a complete and total just like mindfuck.
If they were to,
without spoiling anything, it's just you watch it, your mind explodes. You're like, what the fuck, and then it ends.
Even if they were to pick this up and use a completely different art style, I find that the art style here is beautiful because it's hand-drawn. I think that hand-drawn art style is completely beautiful because everybody's art style is different.
I really appreciate it.
A lot more time goes into it, but even if they were to use like today's standards, I just want to see the story. I want to see what Nobunaga can do at the end of it. I think that would be great.
I mean, honestly, I wish they would continue doing it in this style because, like I said, he's completely right in saying hand-drawn is the way to go. Because, just like I said, you don't get that recycled footage bullshit, where it's like Frieza and Goku fighting in one way, and then it goes to another scene, and then it's Frieza and Goku fighting the same exact way. No, everything is individually, framed out, and, it just, a really nice example of how, good Japanese artists are at creating, animation and drawing and stuff like that.
There was one scene in the hallway where they were running and they just looked at, but for the most part, the reason...
Oh, yeah, it was that part, I remember. Okay, I'm sorry.
The reason why Dragon Ball can do it, but this can, is because this has such, a high budget to it, but Dragon Ball, where it's a TV series, Dragon Ball Z, where it's a TV series...
Yeah, and especially you have to go through so many episodes.
They have to stretch it out, that budget out a lot more.
You're only on a limited budget, so, I mean, not that I'm bashing DBZ, but... I'm trying to give you reasons to...
Yeah, just go check it out. $6. I'm going to post a trailer in the comments, or not the comment section, the description. Let me know if you guys seen it. It's $6. Just go get it.
Yeah. Honestly, the only person that I know who's seen it is, of course, Phone. And he's, that's the only person I've ever known that's heard of it, or I'm sure a few people have seen it and they forgot about it. Maybe you fucking rented a different Blockbuster back in the 90s.
Yeah.
You completely forgot about it. It's that
type
of
movie. I remember in the Skype call when we couldn't think of the name of this. It was months, and we were just trying to remember it, and I was like, oh, that sounds awesome. I want to watch it. And it was an instant buy for me, especially for $6.
Yeah, we bought it that night. It was funny because we would try to think of the name, and they were like, oh, is it this? Is it this? And it was different ninjas and different samurais. I would bring it up, and I'd be like, I can't remember what this is. And I would only describe the beginning so vaguely.
His eye pops out.
Oh no, you can't do this, and then they could just get shot up, and that's the only part I could remember, and that there was a ninja in a red suit. And I'm really glad I found out about this movie, and I'm really glad I purchased it. I usually don't say that for animes, because anime you usually are getting, not as much as you're normally paying, especially with box sets. $55 box set, and you get 20 episodes. Yeah, well, I think that's because
the old chipboard box sets like this, or kind of a price because I'm showing a chipboard box set because there's a lot more effort put into here, and you got extras with these postcards and stuff. Nowadays, they cut the price because they cut the swag, they cut out all the bonus stuff.
Yeah, but even so, $6, that's less than you pay for a movie ticket, and I guarantee you this is probably better than almost every single movie you've seen in the past 2 years, aside from like Inception or like a major
Yeah,
movie.
definitely. In the end, just saying like, okay, the story does leave you off, but this has total rewatchability. I rewatched it again right before doing this video. You know, it's 45
Yeah,
minutes.
I've watched it about 4 times now,
It's been
4
a
or
couple
5
times,
times.
so.
Not even trying to prep for the review, just, you know, oh, I want to watch something, let's watch this, you know. It's, like I said, it's a good popcorn flick. You don't have to like really be engaged in the movie and like, oh, like Inception, like, oh, there's so many things going on. It's a pretty basic plot line, but they built it out very nicely and they fleshed it out nicely with some great, you know, animation and great character development, like Bob said. And $6, you're not going to beat this value.
Definitely. That's all I can really say about it. How about you?
Hey, that's all I can say.
Anyways, that's all for now. Check me out if you're on the Rivals page. I'm Bob Samurai.
And vice versa.
Check out Rival. He
And
is
Team
Team
Rival
Rival Live. I'll have annotations and whatnot and everything. That's all for now.
Hey, don't worry. If I'm recommending Bob, that means he's definitely worth checking out. He's one of my great friends on YouTube. Been good friends for a while. Thanks for coming,
no problem.
Bob.
Thanks for coming.
I appreciate it. All right.
See you
And
guys
peace.
later.